Jaya Radha Madhavam Punya Biham Jaya Radha Punya Biham Kopiyana Vallabha Devagada Ayagopere Janavallabha Devagada Can Vishnu Param Sapakachan, Sutacha, Divine Great Abai Chandin, Diskan, Shiva, Chico, Shiva, Shantam, Shiva, 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 Ananda Kuti, Shanvinaki, all Vaishyas and Vedish, all Vaishyas and Vedish, all Vaishyas and Buddhists, all Vaishyas and Shiva. This evening we will be reading on the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Text, chapter 49, the Sakura's mission. Text 12 and 13. 13 is on the board, so I will first read 12, and then we can repeat together. That's 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Navam Shevana Uttanam Devim Sarvatim Vyasam Tato Jamudi Rayat Nastabeja Bhate Soma Nityam Bhakta Sevyam Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhakti Naistiki. My first read. text 12, Sanskrit and translation. Nanyattava padam bhojat Pashyami Shivanamrinam Bipyatam Ritya Samsarat Ishvarasya Pavarhikat. Solution. For persons fearful of death and rebirth, I see no shelter other than your liberated lotus feet, for you are the Supreme Lord. So this is Supreme Kunti. Next, 13, we can repeat again. The board. Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogesvaraya Yogaya Amam Sharanam Gata Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogesvaraya Yogaya Tvamam Sharanam Gata Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogesvaraya Yogaya Tvamam Sharanam Gata Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogesvaraya Yogaya Tvamam Sharanam Gata.
Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Yogeshwaraya Yogaya
Yogesvaraya Yogaya Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogesvaraya Yogaya Tvamam Sharanam Gata. Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogesvaraya Yogaya Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogesvaraya Yogaya Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogesvaraya Nama Krishnaya Sudhaya Yogeshwaraya Nama obeisances Krishnaya to Krishna, Sudhaya the pure, Brahmani the absolute truth, Parama Atmane the super soul, Yoga of pure devotional service, Ishvaraya the control, Yogaya the source of all knowledge, from you, Aham, I, Sharanam, for shelter, Gata, have approached. Translation and purport by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. I offer my obeisance unto you, Krishna, the supreme pure, the absolute truth and the super soul, the Lord of pure devotional service and the source of all knowledge. I've come to you for shelter. Please repeat. I offer my obeisances unto you, Krishna, the supreme pure, the absolute truth and the super soul, the Lord of pure devotion service, and the source of all knowledge. I've come to you for shelter. Srila Sridhar Swami has translated to you the word Yogaya as unto Krishna, the source of knowledge. The word yoga indicates connection and also means to achieve something. As conscious souls, we have a connection with the Supreme Soul through bhakti or devotion. Through that relationship, we experience perfect knowledge of the Supreme Soul. Since the Supreme Soul is the absolute truth, perfect knowledge of Him means perfect knowledge of everything. As stated in the Mundaka Upanishad 1.3, Yasmin vichate sarvam evam vichanatam bhavati. When the Absolute is understood, everything is understood. Thus Lord Krishna himself, by spiritual potency, establishes our connection with him. And that connection is the source of all spiritual knowledge. Thus Acharya Sridhar, by his thoughtful translations, stimulates us to deeper understanding of Krishna conscious philosophy. Also, purpose of Vishwanath Bhakti Thakur, Shiva Swami, and so on. We'll read them later. Om Agyana Kimandasya Shanam Sanam Shanakam Shakshuram Vitangena Tasmai Shiva Vedama Chichitayamano Vistam Staptam Yena Bhutalishvam Gadam and Dadatis Vandeham Shivu Shiyuta Pandakamam Shivam Vaishnavamsham Shri Rupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabdutam Parijan Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Snudi Navana Chapati Gopesha Bhavka Kantarant Kantamustate Tapta Kamsa Kamalangira Vindavana Shri Vishavan Sudevi Panama Pankha Kaltu Vishanti Pasan Vavishan Patnam Pavana Vyavashyam. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radha Shiva Santikam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Am Vishnu Padaya Svadhisthaya Srimante Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pachani. Nirvishesha Srinabhakti Paskachani. Sadhani Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So this is a prayer by Queen Kunti. We know the prayers of Queen Kunti from the first canto, chapter 5. They are very famous. That Queen Kunti is also known as a very exalted devotee of Lord Krishna. But a devotee he may be on a very exalted stage, or he may be even a Nitya Siddhi devotee, that they engage in the same devotional process that we perform in sadhana bhakti. So, although they are performing the same activities as in sadhana bhakti, we should not think them as inferior. So what are the activities of sadhana bhakti? Hearing about the Lord, chanting about the Lord, worshipping the Lord, serving the Lord. But there are other spiritual processes, and they would think that if one continues in such activities in the most advanced stage, if one performs still such activities after perfection, there must be some fault. It's like a person is going to school, and first he learns the ABC, and then he goes on with his studies, and later he may study complex mathematics, geometry, calculus, logarithm, and so many things. And finally, he gets his PhD in mathematics. And then he goes back to the ABC. People will think that there's something wrong with him. Why is he studying ABC when he's graduated? We have also different spiritual processes like Ashtanga Yoga. In Ashtanga Yoga, it starts with niyam, things to do, things not to do. And then there is this asham, pratyahara, going inside, dharam, freedom in meditation, then dhyan, meditation, and then finally samadhi. So if you have reached samadhi, you are in a perfect trance. But if someone sees you doing ashams at the stage, and one has reached the stage of samadhi, one will ask, what are you doing? Are you going back to stage number 3? You are in stage number 8. Doing ashams when one is in samadhi and in trance, concentrating on the Lord. So even in spiritual processes, the perfection is different from the sadhana. This sadhya is called the perfection. So that is what has been attained, sadhya. And that which is the practice is sadhana. So there is sadhana and there is sadhya. That for the jnanis, what is their sadhana? They study Vedanta and they try to detach themselves from everything in the world. And what is their perfection? What is the sadhya of the jnanis? It is bhakti. But the impersonalists, but in the impersonalists, sadhya, or their goal is mostly, in that goal there is no meditation, there is void, there is simply nothing. One becomes merged with Brahman. So if you are merged in Brahman, as a jnani, you are merged in Brahman, you have got your sadhya, your goal as the impersonalist. And then you are again studying Vedanta. They will think you are in Maya. There's something wrong. So why should you study Vedanta when you are one with God? So sadhana and sadhya are usually different. Usually they are different. But in bhakti, it's not like that. It's different. The sadhana and the sadhya are the same. And that's unique to bhakti. It's the same. What is our sadhana? Is hearing about Krishna, kirtan, worshipping the Lord. And what do we do in sadhya, in our perfection? We do kirtan, we hear about the Lord, we worship the Lord. So the same activities continue in prema as we have done in sadhana bhakti. So there is a difference between bhakti, devotional service, and the other spiritual processes. There is a difference between bhakti and all other spiritual processes and all other material processes. The same activities are there in sadhana and sadhya, in sadhana bhakti or in prema bhakti. The same. But the intensity, the purity, and the amount of devotion is different. So the activities are the same, but the content is different. Then one can say, okay, but then in sadhana you are doing material activities. And you will do spiritual activities when you are in prema. They will say it's a different activity. But no, all the activities in bhakti are considered spiritual. Even in the sadhana bhakti stage. The sadhana bhakti is also considered spiritual. It's not material. Our acharyas say that bhakti is the Shakti of the Lord. And the Shakti of the Lord comes from Krishna. That's explained in this verse. It's a part of Krishna. If we perform bhakti, then that is also part of Krishna. It is part of Krishna's Shakti, spiritual Shakti. It's not a material activity. chanting and remembering Krishna is not a material activity. So when impersonalists or Mayavadis perform bhakti, then that is not the Sakti of Krishna. It is imitation only. And we will clarify further why that is so. So if we speak about bhakti, then we speak about actual bhakti. We situate, for that one must be situated in proper Sambandha Jnana. Sambandha Jnana, understanding who Krishna is, who we are, what our relationship is. That's required to perform bhakti. And then it is a Shakti of the Lord. So if one performs bhakti with faith, then this Shakti of Krishna is there. It is a transcendental activity. So we have in the 11th canto, in the Uddhav Gita, that Krishna explains activities in the three modes of nature. And then he speaks about activities of bhakti, which are beyond the modes. So these are all activities related to Krishna, related to his holy name, related to Prasadam. They are nirguna. So all the other things like Jnana, so the Jnanis, they are not performing transcendental activities. It's sattva guna, goodness. That karma yoga is rajaguna, the mode of passion. So these processes are in the gunas, but bhakti is transcendental. So even a neophyte devotee who has faith and is practicing bhakti is transcendental. So this is something very special. Therefore, we should not think that chanting Hare Krishna equals pious activity, karma kanda. That's the 8th offense against the holy name. Then we consider, if we think like that, then we consider bhakti a material process. Let's look at what do other processes give? What is there? If one performs karma kanda, one can go to Svargaloka, more material enjoyment, the heavenly planets in this material world. If one performs a jnana, if this done is if this done is properly, that to perform jnana properly, it's explained in the 11th canto, there must be a tinge of bhakti. If it's done properly, it will give you liberation. But bhakti can give you all these things. But the devotee does not want these things. Whatever jnana and yoga gives, bhakti can also give. But it gives something very special, because it is non-different from Krishna. So now we say that bhakti is spiritual, okay, and it's non-different from Krishna. But when I do, at least when I do it, when I perform the devotional service and chant the holy name, then mostly I don't realize Krishna directly. Otherwise, if I would realize Krishna directly, I would get immediately prema. So, but the question is, if Krishna if we chant the holy name of Krishna, and Krishna appears before me in the holy name, so then, but yeah, if Krishna appears before in the holy name, if he appears before me, I would get prema. But in sadhana bhakti, we don't get that. So there is still a difference between sadhana bhakti and prema bhakti. So what is this difference between the bhakti we do in sadhana and the bhakti we do in prema? Although Krishna's Sakti is within the holy name and we are beyond the material energy, but there is a difference. Why do we make a difference between sadhana bhakti and prema bhakti? Because in devotional service there are different degrees. It's not that there is anything wrong with bhakti. The holy name is always Krishna. The problem is our consciousness. In our consciousness, we put obstacles, and that covers our vision or our experience of Krishna. So our consciousness influences the quality of bhakti that will manifest. That's the point. So chanting the holy name in the pose of sadhana, how is that called? Someone knows? Usually that's called namabhas. Yeah. So even by chanting namabhas, we can get Sudhana, the pure name. That with namabhas, there is its covering. And when we get perfection, we chant with prema, with love. So in chanting namabhas, we chant the holy name, but we do not get the right effect. In Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami compares prema to the sun. When the sun is out, it's very, very bright. It's full energy. Today we experience that very rare in Belgium, so a few weeks sun. But it's very, very bright. And we compare the holy name to the sun. To the sun. The sun is like Krishna. Krishna, prema bhakti, it's all very bright. So the position of namabhas in comparison to the sun is that there is some influence of the sun, but not fully. It's like the sun on a cloudy day. We know in Belgium what that means, a cloudy day. But the light is there, but it's not coming through. That the clouds are covering our vision of the sun. Therefore, we do not get the same amount of light. So for the jiva, the soul in this material world, there are coverings that preventing the full power of the holy name to be manifest. If there are no coverings, the full sun or prema, the pure name will manifest. Although bhakti is transcendental, all the benefits do not manifest because of the coverings of the jiva. Therefore, we have a difference between sadhana bhakti and prema bhakti. With coverings, without covering. So the process is the same, but the coverings, but because of the coverings, we do not see the same manifestation of bhakti as in prema. In that way, sadhya and sadhana are the same in bhakti, but also different. So the effect of sadhana bhakti is different of what comes out of prema bhakti. So that is the great mercy of Krishna, that through sadhana bhakti and the holy name, we have something that is completely spiritual. So we can access, the only problem is the coverings of the jiva. So what are the clouds that prevent us to experience Krishna directly? What are the obstacles? One is ignorance. The root, ignorance is the root of our material existence. And we can remove it by jnana. By jnana, by knowledge, we can remove a part of the covering, not completely. We can remove a part. Then, and if we chant in a more perfect way, we become perfect by getting knowledge from within. So we can improve our chanting by getting knowledge. But of course, that knowledge, we say jnana, karma, anavritam. That anavritam, one must uncover. That practice devotion service without jnana and karma. But the jnana here is different. This is jnana, which brings us further away from Krishna. So bhakti should not be covered by karma and jnana, that's right. Therefore, we should get a different knowledge. That what gives us knowledge of the Supreme Lord. And that knowledge we need is Sambandha Jnana. Sambandha Jnana and Bhagavat Jnana. That gives us knowledge about the Supreme Lord. So the Sambandha Jnana is Bhagavat Jnana. That's the knowledge we need. Otherwise, if we are ignorant about Krishna, we don't know Krishna's position, we cannot chant properly. So where do we get knowledge from? We get it from the scripture. Therefore, we need to have a scriptural basis for our bhakti. We cannot say that bhakti means, oh, bhakti is emotion for Krishna. I will ignore all the scriptures and just love Krishna. But unless you know about Krishna, and unless you know the process of bhakti, you will do it wrong. Your chanting. Therefore it will be an obstacle. It will be like a cloud. We need to have knowledge of the jiva, knowledge of the difference between the jiva and Krishna. So that is this Sambandha Jnana. And that's a point of Haridas Thakur makes in Harina Chintamani. That there is mentioned that to properly chant the holy name and be situated in Namabhas, where the holy name will purify us, we must be situated in proper Sambandha, knowing who Krishna is, who we are, and what our relationship is. Our relationship, what our connection is. And that's also explained here in this purport today, that a conscious soul, as a conscious soul, we have a connection with the Supreme Lord. We must know what that connection is. That connection is bhakti, devotional service. And how to practice that bhakti, we need knowledge. That's abhideya. How to practice that. So we have to know that that is the scriptural base is knowledge. We need to know the process of connection. And that process of connection is bhakti. So we need to know how to perform bhakti. We need to know the definition of bhakti. We cannot do bhakti unless we know what it is. To know what it is, we need to define it. We need also to know the final result of bhakti. We need to know where we are going. It's a process with stages from Shraddha to Prema. First Shraddha, you have some faith, and then Sadhusanga, you learn about bhakti from the devotees, from the spiritual master who teaches you how to do bhajan, how to perform your sadhana. In the beginning, this bhajan is anishtita, it's unsteady, and then it becomes steady, nishtita. But still, the coverings are there, even in nishtita bhakti, steady bhakti. Still, the coverings are there, unless we start to give up our anarthas. All kinds of anarthas coming from all bad habits. Anarthas coming from previous simple activities, from previous pious activities. That also. Then from Namaparat and Sevaparat, and the most strong is Namaparat. To enter Namaparat, we must give up Namaparat, or give up the 10 offenses. So that's knowledge how to perform bhakti. That you have to understand also what the goal is. So that knowledge we find in the Vedas, and that's therefore the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra represents the summary of the Vedas. And it's very cryptic in aphorism. And in the Vedanta Sutra, you have 4 books. And the first book is about Sambandha Jnana. The second and the third book about Abhideya Jnana. And the fourth book is all about Prayojan, the sadhya, the goal. But it means even when we have the right knowledge, still we have these anarthas. So we can remove our ignorance by knowledge, that's good. But to remove the anarthas, what do we have to do? The bhakti process will do it. The bhakti process will do it. But this namabhas is usually slow. It works slow. It takes time to purify your mind. 20, 30, 40 years chanting. It takes time to purify. But there is a quicker process. You want to know the quicker process? Well, that's the quicker process is the association of devotees who are free from anarchas. That's the quicker process. We always in association with those who are free from anarchas. Therefore, is to live in communities like Radhadesh and so on, it's a great blessing. If you are home in the middle of a city and you have to perform bhakti at home, difficult, slow. But here you have an acceleration, can go quicker. Of course, we have to be careful because by bad association, we can nourish our anarthas again. And therefore, it's mentioned in Nectar of Instruction twice. Asat Sankatya, give up the association of so that's the way to come to pure bhakti, pure sadhana. And pure, how do we perform pure sadhana? We must have the proper motivation. That's important. Not je dan je zegt, nadana, nadjana, nasundaram, kapitavasi, ishikami. Mama, jamani, jamanish, prebhata, bhakti, he said, I do not want wealth, any followers, and I do not want beautiful women. I even do not want liberation. I only want your causeless devotional service. So that's Lord Chaitanya teaching us how to become a devotee. That is our proper motivation. That just wanting to please the Lord favorably. So then, but sadhana bhakti, if we do that with proper motivation in sadhana bhakti, then our sadhana bhakti becomes uttama bhakti, because it rejects all material goals. So even in the sadhana bhakti stage, we can perform pure devotional service in that way. So that is one important point which was made here in the verse approach, that the connection and also the means to achieve something. This also is the lot of pure devotional service that we discussed, and the source of all knowledge. That's something very important to understand, that our Lord is the source of all knowledge. We know that in the Bhagavatam it's mentioned, Tene Brahma Vedaya Adhikave. The Lord gave Brahma knowledge through the heart, to the heart. He performed before for many years tapasya, and then he got the knowledge to the heart, directly from the Lord. So how is that with us? Do we also get knowledge directly from the Lord? Yes, but there are conditions. Krishna says, Tesham satatayuknam vachtam pitagurukam tadami buddhiyutam yena mahapiyantite. Tadami, I will give you buddhiyoga, self-realized knowledge. If you perform devotion service with a little love. And how does he give that? That's explained in the next verse. Tesham evanagam pratamam amahyam chimtaman asajama bhavamastugana dependent pashputam. From within the heart, Krishna says, from within the heart, I purify consciousness with the light of knowledge. And I give him realization from within the heart that in the purport Srila Bhagavad writes, even if one is not fully acquainted with transcendental knowledge and not so good in study the scriptures, but still Krishna helps him from within, gives realizations that so that is Krishna gives it to the heart. But Brahma got into the heart. Krishna was his spiritual master. Why should we accept the spiritual master? Krishna gives it to the heart. But there is Krishna says, I will give you the Dharmi if you have a little love. Make it overcome. That's the problem. You have these clouds of dishonestness, and we don't even have a little love. That we don't even know what's real love. We are confused that we think it's lust. To how to solve that problem. Krishna says that Vinapanapana Pari Krishna that you accept the spiritual master, serve him humbly and inquire from him. That follow the instructions of the spiritual master. So that's what Krishna says. You follow the instructions of the spiritual master. You perform sadhana bhakti. And that Krishna says, I will accept as a little love. And then he gives realizations to the heart. So Krishna gives it to the heart, it's true. But we can only get that if we follow the instructions of the spiritual master. But that's also why association with the devotees is very important. Especially those who are free from anarthas. So King Kunti says, therefore I've come to you for shelter. So that is bhakti, our only shelter is Krishna. That's all the shelters in this material world, temporary and no value. What's valuable is what's eternal. And our relationship with Krishna continues after life, because we are intrinsically connected with Krishna. That is what Prabhupada says, that this is Dharma. Dharma is what we cannot change. What we cannot change is that we are serving Krishna. And that's our relationship. And the beauty of the process of bhakti, if you come purely from sadhana bhakti, you come to bhava, prema, Krishna will reveal to you what kind of relationship you have. The details will come. But we know we are servants. So yes, there are still extensive purports here of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. That Shiva Goswami, that and Sanatana Goswami. We'll nearly reach Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur point. It's not long. I offer respects unto Krishna, the worshipful object of the devotees, unto he who is pure, Sudaya, above Maya, thou appearing to my eyes unto Brahman, the worshipful object of the Jnanis unto Paramatma. devotional object of the yogis, and to the person capable of giving all these methods of attaining yoga is paraya, and to that very Swarup of all these methods, yogaya. So what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying here, it says yes, that for the jnanis, the sadhya is Brahman. For the yogis, the goal is Paramatma. But the bhakti can give all this, that because it is the Swarup of all these methods. Why is that? Why is it? Is it also the Swarup from Brahman and Paramatma? Because Brahman and Paramatma are a manifestation of Bhagavan. It includes all in Bhagavan. But Bhakti gives Prema, which is above that. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur confirms more or less what we explained here. And Jiva Goswami, having explained her relationship, she offers respect and surrender. You are the embodiment of Dharma Sudaya. Therefore, you must protect those who have surrendered. Because you are Brahman and Paramatma, you protect everyone at all times in all place. You protect everyone because you are full of all aspects. You do not depend on anyone else for knowledge. So we see Queen Kunti here, Jiva Goswami points that out as very deep realizations that, yes, you do not depend on anything else for knowledge. That's Krishna's parat, independence. You are Krishna, full of all powers of all types of bhakti. You are the form of consciousness alone of the impersonal jnanis and the form for those attracted to your powers as antaryami alone. So this is the jnanis and the yogis. All these forms are free from the touch of Maya. You give methods of realizing your forms which appear here and there in the world. You are both Sakti and Saktiman. It's nothing impossible for you. Therefore, I surrender. Yeah. Any questions?
Thank you so much for the enlightening class. Please can you elaborate more on how the Seva?
No, but it's yeah. Shape of apparent offenses we do while worshipping the Lord, like in deity worship, that we must be very clean and yeah, or you come in the temple with shoes, or something, that's an apparent, and that not cleansing your hands before offering something to the Lord. But this seva apparent, it's not so serious, because by performance of bhakti, that will be cleansed. But nama, that's because that points to a wrong attitude, an attitude of disrespect towards the holy name, disrespect towards the spiritual master, disrespect towards the scriptures, that and so on. But this nama parant, 10 offenses, which everyone knows, I think, that is, but it's Prabhupada asks us to repeat them every morning. That, and many temples they do that. But anyway, we should be always aware from them, about them, these 10 offenses. But this nama parat, that the problem with that is that prevents us even to go up to prema. Like you have the anarthas for your simple activities. Dat Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Madhurya Nambini says is, first they are limited, and then in the next stage they become general, and then they are eradicated in an all-pervading way, and then with completion, all the anarthas from previous simple activities are gone. So when you come to Nishtita Bhakti, but you are still committing offenses, you are not entering Namavas, you are not entering yet Anartha-Nivriti, then the chanting of the holy name is limited. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, it will eradicate 1 or 2 anarthas, not much. But when you come into Namavas, that and you become more humble, start to see the fault in oneself, not in others. You pray constantly for the mercy of the God. So respect comes, and Trinata Vishnujna Taura Vishnujna Amana Manadina Kirtana Sudari. Then when that happens, then it becomes general. That and when it is when we advance after many years chanting, then it becomes all pervading. The eradication becomes all pervading, and once you get Nishtha, it's complete. So these are anarthas from previous simple activities, but anarthas from Namapara, that if you come to Nishtha, then it starts to become general. But if you come to Ruchi, Asakti, then it's becoming all pervading. When we come to Baba, it's all pervading. But even some residues stay up to the border of prema. That's the point. This Namaparat is much more serious. That prevents us to make advancement. If we come out of this Namaparat and we have the proper attitude, then we are going to make progress. We know our sadhana is going to bring us much sooner to the stadium. Does that help to understand it?
In personally, there is Dvaita and Advaita.
Yeah.
Can you develop me or us just to see a little bit clearer in these methods?
Yeah, Advaita and Vaita, that Advaita means that's Advaita and Advaita. Advaita means duality, not non-dual. Advaita, non-dual, and Vaita means duality. That comes from Sankaracharya. Sankaracharya, he came up with the philosophy that everything is one. So this duality is Maya. You get out of this duality, you get in a non-dual level, and then you can enter Brahman, the spiritual platform is not the world. Because the dual platform is our what's good for the body we like, what gives pain we don't like, good and bad, and these are concoctions of the mind. That, and he says, yes, oneness. There's only oneness, and there's this mind. But then Madhvacharya came and said, no, everything is different. That we are not all one with the Supreme Lord. That we are different. So everything, the Lord is different from us. We are the servant of the Lord. So we are different. Everything is different. But of course, Shankaracharya said there is only Brahman, spiritual energy, and we are that energy, and we have to become one with it. But then Madhvacharya said, no, it's different. And yes, we are different, that's true. But there is also oneness. The truth lies in the combination. And that combination was made by Lord Chaitanya. Atsintya Veda Veda Tattva. Oneness and difference. What is oneness? We know that
Our apologies, Maharaj, for being impersonal.
So, what is our oneness with the absolute truth? Krishna is made of Satchidananda, the soul is made of Satchidananda, are the same substance. So we are one in quality, but we are different in quantity. That we are the servant. So both are there. A devotee wants to be, and that's in the Bhagavatam, a devotee wants to be in oneness with the Supreme Lord. But it's explained in the Bhagavatam what that means. It's another kind of oneness than the impersonal thing. The oneness of the devotee is that he has no separate interest from the Lord. He wants to fulfill the desires of the Lord. There is no separate interest. And that's Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means following what Srila Prabhupada said, follow the dictations of the celestial living. That's Krishna consciousness. And these are the same instructions as we find in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's instructions. So that is oneness in the sense we experience in bhakti. We are one in interest with the Lord. And that interest, that oneness is realized through bhakti. But at the same time, we are different. So we are Veta and not Veta at the same time. But for the impersonalist, Shankaracharya, only Advaita exists. And yeah, of course, Madhvacharya is in our line, that's true. And he comes up with that Advaita. But that was more or less a strong reaction to Shankaracharya. But he goes to the limit to say everything is different. But Lord Chaitanya brought entire picture. It was Krishna's plan. It was Krishna's plan. First, people were so simple, they were using the Vedas to kill animals, and eat the meat. So then Buddha came, and Buddha says, yes, no, we reject the Vedas. He rejected the Vedas, that you just do ahimsa, these 8 noble truths. So he brought them from that sinful level of misusing the Vedas, but he rejected the Vedas. And then Sankaracharya came and re-established the Vedas, but in an impersonal way. Because they were not ready to accept the entire truth of the Vedas in one time. So he re-established the Vedas. Sankaracharya is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, got his mission from the Supreme Lord to re-establish the Vedas, but it was in an impersonal way. And then we have, so the Buddhist said everything is zero. And then we get, after that, Sankaracharya said, no, it's not zero, it's 1. And then Madhva comes, he said, no, it's not 0, it's not 1. It's all 2, all different. And then Lord Chaitanya came and said, it's not 1, it's not 2. It's 1 and 2 at the same time. But he qualified it. And that is qualified oneness. He explained it. There's oneness in purpose, but there is difference in position. We are minded part of Krishna. We are not Krishna. But the point there, and Jiva Goswami explains that, the point, the fallacy of the Advaita philosophy of Sankaracharya is that what is it what they did not understand? And Krishna speaks about that in Bhagavad Gita. At the end he says, I will give you confidential knowledge. Confidential knowledge is Brahma Bhuta Prashna, Brahman. And then he says, I will give you more confidential knowledge. Then he says, Ishparashava Bhutanam Vichayam Tisdevam Sonam Bhutanam Yad Bhutayamaya. I'm sitting in everyone's heart and conduct the wanderings of all the bodies in which these living entities are seated with my being. I control material nature as the spiritual. But that's more confidential. And then the most confidential knowledge is Bhagavan, which is the soul of Bhagavan and Brahman. And that the impersonalists do not get. They reject Krishna as material, avajanantiman, dhammam, vishantam, ashritam. And they do not understand that Paramatma is an expansion of Krishna, and that Brahman is his energy. So if one does not understand that, then there is a problem. Because where is Brahman coming from? They cannot understand. Because Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and Jiva Goswami said, and then Bhagavan has his energies. So all the energies are coming from Krishna, but they cannot explain the source of the energy. And that's, anyway, it's a big study. But I hope that's a good introduction of the essence. Thank you. Thank you very much. Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.